And now, here is your host for the Cleveland Sports Report, Nick Brolis. Hey, how's everybody going? And certainly hope that you are having a great Easter holiday, or should I say, hope you had a great Easter holiday. Welcome to the Cleveland Sports Report. I am your host, Nick Brolis. Thank you for watching the 30th edition of the Cleveland Sports Report, as a matter of fact. Wanted to lead things off with you with some baseball in the Tribe as they won today by a final score of 6-4. They lost the series of 3 games to the Toronto Blue Jays. And I was watching the game today and I was thinking to myself, this pitching's got to turn it around. And one thing that I wanted to bring up to you guys, and I wanted your feedback on this, because this is an old saying that all of us baseball fans use, and you really use this saying in general with any sport, but I'm going to bring it up with baseball, and that is, well, the season's still young. So my question for you is, how long do you actually use that saying? Do you wait till about a month and a half into the season, and then stop using it? I wanted your opinion. You can tweet at me at mbrolis, and feel free to email me as well, as although most of you have not emailed me once, and as a matter of fact, none of you have tweeted at me yet. But again, Nick Brolis, 8404@yahoo.com. You can reach me either way. And I'm watching the game today, as I was saying, and Carrasco's starting the game for the Indians. And first 2 innings, just like the last start, great, looked good. After that, goes right down. Over, just looked terrible. But luckily for him, Lonnie Chisenhall, David Murphy, and Michael Brantley are 3 of the hottest hitters on this team right now. David Murphy came through, brought in 3 runs, and for me, again, I said this on the last CSR, the pitching has not been what I expected it to be, although I didn't expect the pitching to be great. I expected it to be average at best. We're not even to that point yet. But the offense has done better than what I thought it would. And luckily for Carrasco, the offense came through today. So, what your opinions on that, obviously. And as I just said, Chisenhall, Murphy, and Brantley are the 3 hottest hitters right now. The 3 players that stick out to me the most right now in terms of a slump are Santana and Bourne and Swisher. I'm gonna just bring up Swisher right now. I love you, Swisher. You are an awesome person. I wish you were my neighbor, because we are the same type of person in terms of a personality standpoint. Energy level, we are the same. But dude, you signed a pretty nice contract last year. I mean, you know what I mean? You got a nice contract? Dude, you got to produce. You've got to produce. You haven't done well on defense or offense. And you are one of these guys that we expect to hit 20, 25 home runs and bring in a good amount of people, when they're on the bases. You got to come through. And Bourne, dude, you're a leadoff hitter. You got to do better than this. I mean, I realize you're just coming off the DL, but man, you got to step your game up. And Santana, we're looking for you for power, buddy. You're the one that's like Swisher. You got to drive in these runs. So, I mean, those are the 3 guys that I'm most concerned about in terms of a slump, because they're so important. I know there's other guys that are slumping right now, but those guys stick out the most for me. So, we now welcome in the Kansas City Royals in for a 4-game divisional series. That starts Monday, tomorrow night, or depending on whenever you watch this. So, the Royals are coming in actually as a very hot team right now. I don't know if they won today, but I do know that they've won 5 in a row, so they're a hot team. Now, here's your division leaders. The Central, the Tigers, are leading our division right now. We're in last place. We're sitting at 8-10. The Yankees are leading the East, and the A's are leading the West, which is no surprise to me. In the NL, the Braves are leading the East. The Brewers, the Brew Crew's got it going on in the Central. And the Dodgers, Dodger Town, is hopping right now out in the West. That's with the baseball. Now, we're going to switch to the NBA here for just a second. Yeah, no Cavs talk tonight. There's nothing going on with the Cavs, so there's nothing really for me to report. The Spurs lead the series with the Mavericks 1-0. The Warriors are over the Clippers 1-0. And the Oklahoma City Thunder lead over the Memphis Grizzlies by a series lead of 1-0. And by the way, I'm not even going to say 1-0 because all these teams that I'm about to tell you about are leading their series 1-0. Hawks over the Pacers, Nets over the Raptors, and the Heat over the Bobcats. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I have not watched much NBA playoffs so far, even though they've only, the playoff series itself are so young. I watched a little bit of the Bobcats and the Heat game, and I was upstairs a little bit ago watching a little bit of the Wizards and the Bulls game, which is very close. It was a minute 13 left, and I think the Wizards were up by 3. So that Lord knows who will have won that game by the time this edition of Cleveland Sports Report has ended. And just real quick for you, the Browns worked out Johnny Manziel this week down in Manziel's neck of the woods. He's actually coming up here this week to work out for the Browns. Please don't take him. Please don't take Manziel. Browns, please just don't take him. Take Watkins if he's still there. If he's still there. And finally, going to college football now. Ohio State released their schedule the other day. Figured you might want to know who we're going to be playing and where. The regular season, if that's really what you want to call this, starts off 8:30, 14. We go to Baltimore. We play Navy. And then we actually open up our homestand against Virginia Tech. Then Kent State comes in along with Cincinnati. And then we go to Maryland. And then Rutgers comes here. And you remember, Maryland and Rutgers joined the Big Ten this year, so we will be playing them. They're now part of the Big Ten. Tough game for us here. We go to Penn State to play the Nittany Lions. And I'm worried about that game because Penn State always plays us tough. It doesn't matter what the record is. And then Illinois comes here, and then we go to Michigan State. I'm very curious because last year they beat us in the Big Ten title game after all the talk about how we were going to play them so good and we were just going to walk all over them. And I said, no, it's not going to happen. So we go to East Lansing, and then we follow that up with a trip up to Minneapolis to play Minnesota. And then to finish out the year, the Hoosiers and the Wolverines come here to finish off the season. And hopefully we're playing in the Big Ten title game in Indianapolis next year. So I just threw out to you some couple different things between the Indians and the struggles that are the pitching. What are your concerns with the offense? Are you concerned? And what do you like about the NBA playoffs this year so far? Are there any teams other than Miami and Oklahoma City that really jump out at you? And by the way, real quick, who do you think's going to win the MVP this year? Because I think it's already obvious that Kevin Durant's going to win it, but I'm just curious if any of you have a different opinion on that. I think he should win it. And, of course, any of your opinions on who you think the Browns might want to take at number 4, has your opinion changed in the last month? Because we've got a couple more weeks, because the draft is May 8th. It's a Thursday. So, with that being said, I thank you very much for tuning in here to the Cleveland Sports Report. Again, I am your host, Nick Brolis. Anything we just covered, please feel free to tweet at me, at mbrolis. Email me, nickbrolis8404@yahoo.com. I thank you for tuning in. See you in a couple days. Thank you very much.